Hello everyone and welcome back to Everything Tech. Today we're going to be upgrading my computer, or I should say adding to my computer, an NVMe SSD, and here I have it with me right now. This is a Samsung 970 EVO M.2 SSD, 500 gigabytes, and I'll be installing this into my computer, and you can too. All you have to do is just look up your computer and make sure you have the correct M.2 slot, and make sure that it's either unoccupied or you're willing to upgrade to a faster or maybe even a higher capacity SSD drive. Now in my case, my computer here, in case you want to upgrade a computer that looks similar to mine, it is the HP 15-CC 183CL, and the CL is a club model designation, so that means that it was sold at Costco, which is where I got it, and possibly even Sam's Club and any other club stores. And before you do any upgrades, make sure you search up your model number for your computer and look for the maintenance guide and see if you can upgrade to an NVMe SSD. Now in my case, again, like I said, it's a 2280 M.2 NVMe SSD. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to go ahead and flip the computer over. And in case your computer, the bottom of your computer looks like mine, it may vary, but at least with mine, I have 1, 2, and 3 long screws, 1, 2, 3, 4 short screws, and then 2 and 4 black screws towards the back. Now this is the front of the computer, and you can see it kind of bends down like so. The back of the computer will have some air vents in the back like that, and it will have the Pavilion logo. That's just for reference, and it is the back of the computer. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove these screws here. If you want to manage your screws, you can do so. I already know, but I've taken this computer apart more times than I care to really talk about, so I already know which screws go where. But if you want to take the back off, you have to remove the DVD drive, and the screw for the DVD drive is going to be this one right here. This here is my 63-in-1 precision screwdriver set that I got a while back. If you remember seeing that video, or if you care to take a look at the video for this screwdriver set, you can. It's on my channel. And we're going to be using a Phillips head size 2.0. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove the DVD drive. It's actually an important step in removing the back cover. It's actually one of the first steps that the guide mentions. So once you remove the screw, all you do is with your nail or with the pry tool or any other tool, just pop it out like so. And then you pull it out. Make sure you set it aside in a safe location, and we can go ahead and start removing the rest of these screws. These screws here, I did point to the little rubber pads here, and the screws are right under it, which is kind of annoying, but at least you could take apart your computer and upgrade it. That's a plus in my book. Now, if you want to find out where the screw is, I already know it's right here, but if it's the first time you're doing this or it's different for your computer, just grab your nail and then just scrape the bottom of the pad, and then eventually you're going to feel a little dip. You can even see it there. Let me zoom in there so you can see this a lot better. You can see the dip there. That should indicate to you there's a hole there, and you just peel back what you need for your little tape there so you don't damage it. And I think HP sells spare rubber feet, so in case you want to just rip them out completely and replace them, you can do that like so. Now the other rubber foot, I lost the screw on it, so I'm not going to do that one, but I am going to move forward and show you the back ones. These are 2, and for me they're at the very back, but again, you can use your nail to scrape all the way down, and you're going to notice there's the first dip right there. Keep going, and then there's another one. So you just peel this back, make sure you get all your screws, and you can see there, that's 2. Can be done much the same. Just use your fingers, scrape, scrape, scrape. There's one there, and there's one there. Peel this back as much as you need. And remove your screws. Now that we got all our screws removed, we can go ahead and proceed with the removal of the back cover. So please make sure you have all of your screws removed. You have 2 short ones, actually you have 4 short ones. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 3 long ones. And then 2 short black ones in the back. Once you have all of those taken out, you can proceed to removing the back cover. And the way I like to proceed with this is, now my computer case, I've taken it apart so many times it's easy now, but the first time I found it really hard. So what I like to do is get the spludger tool or a credit card if you don't have this, or any other hard plastic card. It doesn't have to be a credit card, and just stick it in like this. Once you get in a little like that, you can just grab your credit card and slide it through here, start going down here, and just make your way down. But since I've opened this computer case more times than I care to admit, I can go ahead and start peeling this back. But please, I want you to take note of the DVD drive area. You have some clips there. I like to take care of those first. And getting in closer here, you can see I'm peeling this back. So with my finger, I'm just pushing it back like so. And you can see it's already unpopping. This one's already unpopped. And like I said, I've done this so many times that my computer case is already kind of used to getting taken apart. But the first time you do this, and the first time I did it, it was pretty tough because it's a brand new case. And there we go. We got the back case removed. And if it's the first time you open up your computer, you may notice that it's a little dusty in the back cover. While you're in here, I do suggest giving it a good clean. I cleaned my computer out a couple of months ago. That's why it's rather clean in here. But I do suggest giving it a nice clean. You're going to see a noticeable improvement in your performance because the computer doesn't have to cool down a dusty computer, if you know what I'm saying. Now for a stock configuration, here we have the drive bay for a 2.5-inch hard drive. It originally came with a 1 terabyte, 5200 RPM hard drive, which is rather disappointing. But I did upgrade it to a 860 Evo SSD 1 terabyte. I did that upgrade about 2 years ago, and it's done pretty well for me. I do like that upgrade. But I noticed that when I took it apart, my computer had a spot for an NVMe SSD, and I'll get closer into that in just a second. So I figured, why not upgrade it? So when you do take your computer apart, it's important to know if your computer supports NVMe SSDs. And when I did come in here, I did take a picture of the NVMe SSD slot just so I have a picture of it and I can tell what SSD drive I need. And I did also reference the hardware manual, the maintenance and hardware manual, and I did search up the SSDs that are supported. It should tell you, oh, this part number is this hard drive. For all of the computers, this one's the one that's supported, and hopefully I'll splash an image on the screen now of that PDF file. So it's important for you to actually go into the hardware manual and see what's supported for your computer and what isn't. And you can see that's the NVMe SSD slot there. And if you come all the way down here, you're going to see that little screw mount there. This is important. If your computer did not come with an NVMe SSD, but it has the mount or the socket for it, you're going to need to buy screws and mounting hardware so that you can mount it to your computer. If it did, all you have to do is just remove the screw, pull out the drive, put in the new drive, and screw it back on. That's all you really need to do. But in my case, because the original computer didn't ship with a drive, I do have to buy some mounting hardware. And that's exactly what I did. I got this QT-TAC M.2 SSD mounting screws and heatsink kit. If you're interested in this one, I'll leave it down below in the description, along with the SSD and even the screwdriver set. But this one here was about $5.99. It was actually pretty inexpensive. I didn't mind spending that much. And it comes with a screwdriver, a heatsink, and various mounting screw options. And you can see here, this is the heatsink. This is in case your computer has enough room inside for the heatsink. All you have to do is just put on a little plastic thermal pad, or a little thermal pad that is behind the heatsink, and then the metal heatsink there, and then you wrap it in the rubber bands with the SSD. But I'm not going to be doing that. It does come with a screwdriver, the right screwdriver for taking apart my computer, actually. And of course, The last thing in here is going to be the mounting screw options, and it comes with like little rubber washers and then spacers and little screwdrivers there. So I'm going to go ahead and take one of these out, and we're going to get our NVMe SSD out. And let me go ahead and go wide again. There we go, and here's our SSD. And this here is one of the best SSDs you can get for any computer. I do suggest paying the extra $1 for a Samsung SSD. I've had this one for 2 years, and not once has it failed me, not once has it disappointed me. It's my drive of choice, and no, that's not a sponsored segment there. And there's the SSD. We're going to go ahead and remove the plastic there. And there is our SSD slot on our computer. Now, the beauty of these SSDs is that they only go in one way, and here is our SSD there. They only go in one way, so you are going to notice that there is a little notch there, and I'm gonna get in as close as I can there and use my screwdriver as a pointing medium. I don't suggest this, but you can see there, I'm not actually touching the computer. I'm at a good distance away, but you can see there's a little notch. Keep in mind that notch, because when you do install your SSD is going to have a notch in it, so it's only going to go in one way. And the way you know it's already in there, it should make a noise, but you should feel a little bit of a pop on your fingers when you do and insert it, like a little jolt. I don't know if you heard that like sound, but it's in. And then going down here, it's right on the money. It fits perfectly in there. It's nice and snug. So now we can go ahead and grab our little mounting screws that we got from our little set. I'm going to go ahead and use the magnetic tip on my screwdriver here and go ahead and install it. Not too tight, but not too loose that it's going to come loose. Nice and tight there. There we have it. And with that installed, we're done. We've successfully installed an SSD, NVMe SSD for that matter, into our computer. So now we have both an NVMe SSD and a 2.5-inch SSD drive. So what I'm going to do is use this as my boot drive and my drive for storing all my applications so that they launch nice and fast. And then I'll be using this 1 terabyte as a storage. So all my music, all my games, all my files, important stuff that I don't want to lose, it's all going to go on here, so that I can, whenever I want to, clean install the operating system on this drive, and everything that I have saved will always be saved onto this drive. So now we're going to go ahead and put the computer back together, and then if you want to learn how to do that, just watch the taking it apart in reverse. Make sure all of your screws are back together again, and we can go ahead and proceed with installing Windows 10 on this hard drive. I'm not going to have you go through all of that. I'll just show you some screenshots of the installer reading the SSD and making sure that it's read, and I'll give you a little treat at the end with some crystal disk mark speed tests between the SSD and the NVMe drive. Here is the Windows Setup installer. I'm currently installing Windows 10 on the new SSD, and you can see here drive 0, that's going to be our SSD that was already installed, and drive 1 with 4 different partitions, that's going to be the primary boot drive. And you can see those are the partitions that Microsoft makes for my particular computer. Yours may be different, and it will always make these. So even if you don't create a new partition, it'll do this up by itself. So it's not like it matters whether you do it or not, but it's good to see that my 500 gigabyte NVMe SSD shows up, as well as my 1 terabyte. And in case you're the type to really care about these numbers, these are the crystal disk mark numbers. The ones on the right are going to be for the SSD, the 2.5-inch drive, and the ones on the left are going to be for the NVMe SSD. And you can see here the reads are at 1,710 and the writes are at 1,671, whereas the regular hard drive, or the SSD, the 2.5-inch 860 EVO, is 562 and 530 read and writes. And the rest of the numbers are there in case you really care. And I don't really care about this as long as I can notice a difference in speed. These are synthetic tests, so that's one thing to keep in mind. And I did install pretty quickly Windows 10. It did it just a little faster than the regular SSD, but way loads faster than if you were to do it on a regular spinning drive. This one came with a 5400 RPM hard drive, and I soon upgraded it to the SSD it has now. And now I decided to add the NVMe SSD as a second storage option, or my main storage option, and just make my SSD my storage drive. So all I really had to do was initialize the drive so that Windows can see it. But other than that, I'm all set to go. And let's go ahead and jump to the conclusion. And that's how you upgrade to an NVMe SSD drive on an HP Pavilion laptop. I'll leave down in the description below a link to the SSD, as well as the M.2 SSD mounting screw set and the screwdriver kit that I used in this video in case you're interested. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down below. For any questions, I'll try to answer them as best I can. And if any suggestions do arise, I do take those into consideration when filming my next video. So don't be afraid to leave some comments down below. With that being said, thank you all for watching. See you all in the next video.